Maya Rodriguez pressed her face against the small window of the transport ship. The Terran Defense Academy floated in the darkness of space like a giant metal city. Jupiter's moon Europa glowed beneath it, covered in ice that sparkled under the distant sun. Maya had never seen anything so beautiful or so terrifying. She clutched her single bag tighter. Inside were all her belongings from the mining colony where she grew up. A few clothes, some tools her father had given her, and the acceptance letter that still felt like a dream. Maya came from Kepler Station, a place where people fixed broken things with whatever they could find. Most kids from there became miners or mechanics. None of them went to the most famous military academy in human space. The transport docked with a soft bump. Maya followed the other new cadets through the airlock. They all looked confident and clean in their expensive clothes. Maya wore her best shirt and pants, but they still looked shabby next to everyone else. She heard one boy talking about his father, who was an admiral. A girl nearby mentioned her prep school on Mars. Maya stayed quiet. Commander Kane Fletcher stood at the front of the welcome hall. He was tall and strong, with gray hair and cold blue eyes. Medals covered his chest. His voice boomed across the room when he spoke. "Welcome to the Terran Defense Academy. Some of you belong here, some of you do not. The next 4 years will show us which is which." His eyes swept across the crowd of new cadets. When they landed on Maya, they stayed there for a moment. She felt like he could see right through her, could tell she did not belong with the others. "Real officers come from real military families," Fletcher continued. "They understand duty, honor, and sacrifice from birth. They do not learn it from books or hope to fake it until they make it." Maya's cheeks burned. She wondered if everyone could tell he was talking about her. The cadets were given room assignments and schedules. Maya found her small room and unpacked her few things. Her roommate had not arrived yet, but her half of the room was already full of expensive gadgets and clothes. Maya sat on her plain bed and wondered what she had gotten herself into. The next morning, classes began. Maya struggled with everything. Military history was full of battles and strategies she had never heard of. Advanced mathematics used formulas that seemed impossible. Even basic protocol class was hard because Maya had never learned proper military manners. In tactical theory, Professor Brooks asked the class to analyze a famous space battle. Maya raised her hand and gave an answer based on what she would do with limited resources. The other students laughed. Brooks looked embarrassed for her. "Miss Rodriguez, that approach might work on a mining station, but real military tactics require more sophisticated thinking." Maya sank lower in her chair. She noticed Commander Fletcher standing in the back of the room, watching her with a frown. During lunch, Maya sat alone in the cafeteria. She picked at her food and listened to the conversations around her. Everyone seemed to know each other already. They talked about their family's military service and their prep school achievements. Maya had nothing to add to those conversations. "Mind if I sit here?" Maya looked up to see a boy with messy brown hair and kind eyes. He held a lunch tray and smiled at her. "I'm Alex Thompson," he said, sitting down without waiting for an answer. "You're Maya, right? From Kepler Station?" Maya nodded, surprised. He knew her name. "I heard Commander Fletcher talking about you," Alex said. "He does not think much of diversity admissions." "Diversity admissions?" Maya asked. "You know, when they let in people who are not from military families. He thinks the academy is getting soft." Alex took a bite of his sandwich. "My dad's a general, so I guess I am not diversity anything. But Fletcher still does not like me much, says I am too soft for command." Maya felt a little better knowing she was not the only one Fletcher disliked. That afternoon was combat simulation. The cadets were put into teams and given virtual reality headsets. Maya found herself paired with Alex and 2 others she did not know. Their mission was simple: protect a supply convoy from enemy attack. The simulation felt real. Maya could see the enemy ships approaching their convoy through space. Her teammates immediately started following standard defensive patterns they had learned in class. But Maya saw something different. "Wait," she said into her microphone. "Those enemy ships are moving in a pattern. If we put our fighters here instead of there, we can use the asteroid field to hide." "That is not how it works," said one of her teammates. "We should follow the standard formation." "But look at the asteroids," Maya insisted. "We can use them as cover and create a trap." Her teammates ignored her and stuck to the textbook approach. The enemy ships destroyed their convoy easily. Maya watched their simulation score appear on the screen. "Failed." Commander Fletcher's voice came over the intercom. "Another group that thinks they can reinvent military strategy. Miss Rodriguez, your mining station tricks do not work in real space combat." Maya felt her face turn red again. Around her, other cadets whispered and pointed. She wanted to disappear. That evening, Maya called her parents on the communication system. Her father's weathered face appeared on the screen. Behind him, she could see the familiar walls of their small quarters on Kepler Station. "How is it going, sweetheart?" he asked. Maya wanted to tell him everything. How lost she felt. How the other cadets seemed to belong while she did not. How even the instructors thought she was a mistake. But when she looked at her father's proud smile, she could not do it. "It is good, Dad. Really good. I knew you would do great things," he said. "Your mom and I are so proud of you." After the call ended, Maya lay on her bed and stared at the ceiling. Through her small window, she could see the stars. Somewhere out there was Kepler Station, where people valued her skills and treated her like she belonged. Here at the academy, she felt like a fraud. But Maya had grown up fixing impossible problems, with limited resources. She had learned to keep trying when things seemed hopeless. Maybe the academy was just another broken system that needed the right approach to fix it. She sat up and opened her tactical theory textbook. If she was going to prove she belonged here, she would have to work harder than everyone else. Maya began to read, determined to show Commander Fletcher and everyone else that they were wrong about her. Outside her window, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter. Maya had been at the academy for 3 weeks when Commander Fletcher made his announcement. The entire first-year class stood at attention in the main hall while he paced in front of them like a hunting cat. "You will be divided into squads of 4, Fletcher said. "Each squad will face a series of tactical challenges over the next month. The squad with the lowest scores will face academic probation. Some of you may find yourselves looking for a new career path." His cold eyes found Maya in the crowd. She knew that look by now. It meant trouble. "Squad assignments are posted outside. You have 1 hour to meet your teammates and prepare for your first challenge." Maya pushed through the crowd to read the list. Her heart sank when she found her name. Squad 7 consisted of Maya Rodriguez, Alex Thompson, Lisa Martinez, and someone called Zara Thek. She knew Alex was struggling with confidence issues. Lisa Martinez was the smartest cadet in their class, but she followed rules so strictly that she never took risks. And Zara Thek was the alien cadet from Centauri Prime, who everyone avoided because they did not know how to talk to her. Maya found her squad mates in the assigned meeting room. Alex sat slumped in his chair, looking defeated before they had even started. Lisa had already spread out textbooks and was making notes with perfect handwriting. Zarathek stood apart from the others, her blue skin and large black eyes making her seem even more isolated. "Well, this is just perfect," Alex muttered. "Fletcher put all the problem cases together." "We are not problem cases," Lisa said firmly. "We just need to apply proper tactical principles and work as a team." Zarathek said nothing. Her people communicated through sounds that humans could barely hear, so she wore a translator device around her neck. It made her voice sound flat and emotionless. "Fletcher wants us to fail," Maya said. "But that does not mean we have to." Alex laughed bitterly. "Easy for you to say. You have not been failing every simulation like I have. And you have not been treated like a science experiment," Zarathek added. Her translator made the words sound cold, but Maya could see pain in her large eyes. Maya looked at her teammates. They were all outsiders in different ways. Alex was from a military family but could not live up to the expectations. Lisa was brilliant, but too rigid to adapt when plans went wrong. Zarathek was the only alien in their class and faced suspicion everywhere she went. "Maybe that is our strength," Maya said slowly. "We all see things differently." Their first challenge came 2 days later. Each squad had to repair a damaged simulation pod while under pressure. The pods were used for space combat training, and they broke down regularly. Maya had expected something military-related, but this was just technical work. The other squads approached the problem by following the repair manual step by step. Squad 7's pod had a power coupling that would not respond to standard procedures. Lisa tried to force it to work according to the manual, while Alex panicked about their time limit. Maya studied the damaged coupling with the experience of someone who had been fixing broken things her whole life. The part was not just damaged, it was installed wrong. Someone had put it in backwards during the last repair. Lisa, stop following the manual for a second, Maya said. Look at this coupling. Does something seem wrong to you? Lisa frowned at the part. Her textbook knowledge was impressive, but she had never actually fixed anything before. It looks like the manual diagrams. The manual diagrams are wrong, Maya said. Or whoever installed this did not read them carefully. Zarathek, can you help me flip this around? Zarathek moved with the quick grace of her species. Her people were natural engineers, though the academy instructors seemed to forget that. Together, she and Maya repositioned the coupling correctly. Alex, can you run the power test now? Maya asked. Alex's hands shook as he activated the controls, but the pod hummed to life perfectly. Squad 7 finished their repair in half the time of any other squad. Commander Fletcher stood with his arms crossed, watching them work. When they reported their completion time, his frown deepened. Cadet Rodriguez, explain your repair method. Maya described what she had found and how she had fixed it. Fletcher listened with obvious disapproval. You deviated from standard procedure, he said. In the field, that kind of improvisation could be dangerous. But it worked, Alex said, surprising everyone, including himself. Fletcher's cold stare shifted to Alex. Cadet Thompson, are you questioning my assessment? Alex's face went pale, but he did not back down. No, sir. I am just saying that Maya saw something the manual missed. Dr. Brooks, the tactical systems professor, had been watching from nearby. He stepped forward with interest. Commander Fletcher, may I examine their work? He asked. Brooks studied the repaired coupling and ran several diagnostic tests. His eyebrows went up as he read the results. This is excellent work, he said. The coupling was indeed installed incorrectly. Miss Rodriguez, where did you learn to diagnose problems like this? On Kepler Station, sir, Maya said. Everything there is broken or breaking. You learn to see what is really wrong, not just what the manual says should be wrong. Brooks nodded thoughtfully. Practical experience often reveals things that theory misses. Fletcher's jaw tightened, but he could not argue with the results. Over the following week, Squad 7 faced more challenges. They had to plan a supply, route through hostile territory, defend a space station from attack, and rescue hostages from a damaged ship. Each time, Maya's unconventional thinking helped them find solutions that the textbooks had not considered. Alex began to gain confidence as he realized his teammates valued his ideas. Lisa learned to bend rules when the situation called for it. Zarathek started speaking up more, sharing insights from her people's different way of seeing problems. Maya felt something she had not experienced since arriving at the academy. She felt like she belonged somewhere. But Fletcher was not finished with them. After Squad 7 scored highest on 3 challenges in a row, he called Maya to his office. Cadet Rodriguez, sit down, he said without looking up from his computer. Maya sat in the uncomfortable chair across from his desk. The walls were covered with pictures of Fletcher receiving medals and commanding starships. They made her feel very small. Your squad has been performing well, Fletcher said finally. Some might call it surprisingly well. Thank you, sir. That was not a compliment. Fletcher finally looked at her. You seem to think that your little tricks and shortcuts make you clever. But military service is not about being clever. It is about following orders and proven procedures. Maya said nothing. She had learned that arguing with Fletcher only made things worse. I have designed a special challenge for your squad, Fletcher continued. Something that will test whether your unconventional methods work when lives are really at stake. He turned his computer screen toward her. On it was a tactical scenario, labeled No-Win Situation, Advanced Level. Every squad that has attempted this scenario has failed, Fletcher said with a thin smile. But I am sure your mining station experience will help you succeed where trained military officers could. Not. Maya stared at the screen. The scenario looked impossible. A small force defending against overwhelming odds with no support and limited resources. You have 1 week to prepare, Fletcher said. Do not disappoint me, Cadet Rodriguez. As Maya left his office, she realized that Fletcher was not just testing her squad anymore. He was trying to destroy them. The question was whether Squad 7 could prove him wrong one more time, or if they would finally face a problem that Maya's unconventional thinking could not solve. She found her squad mates in the library, studying for their regular classes. When she told them about Fletcher's challenge, Alex went pale again. A no-win scenario? He whispered. He really wants us gone. But Lisa was already pulling up information about the challenge on her tablet. No-win. Scenarios are designed to test character under pressure. They are not really meant to be won. Everything can be won, Zarathek said quietly. My people have a saying, the impossible is just the difficult with better disguise. Maya looked at her teammates, her friends, and felt a familiar determination rising in her chest. She had grown up making impossible things work. Maybe it was time to show the Academy what that really meant. Maya stared at the tactical display until her eyes burned. For 5 days, Squad 7 had been studying Fletcher's impossible scenario. The setup was brutal in its simplicity. Protect a civilian transport carrying 3,000 refugees while cut off from all reinforcements. Enemy forces outnumbered them 10-1 and had better weapons, faster ships, and unlimited resources. Every squad has tried different approaches, Lisa said, reading from her research notes. Direct assault, defensive formations, hit-and-run tactics, even surrender negotiations. Nothing works for more than 30 minutes. Alex rubbed his tired eyes. Maybe that is the point. Maybe Fletcher wants us to learn that some battles cannot be won. Or maybe he wants us to quit trying, Maya said. But doubt crept into her voice. For the first time since arriving at the Academy, she wondered if a problem really was unsolvable. Zarathek moved her long fingers across her tablet, reviewing enemy movement patterns. The artificial intelligence that controls the enemy forces adapts quickly. It learns from each failed attempt and becomes harder to defeat. Maya had been thinking about that AI for days. It was designed by the best tactical minds in human space to create training scenarios that pushed cadets to their limits. But AIs followed rules even when those rules were complicated. Everything followed rules if you understood the system well enough. The night before their attempt, Maya could not sleep. She walked through the empty corridors of the Academy, her mind churning through possibilities. Near the observation deck, she found Dr. Brooks staring out at the stars. Miss Rodriguez, he said without turning around. Having trouble sleeping? Yes, sir. Maya joined him at the wide window. Jupiter hung in the darkness like a giant marble, its storms swirling in, patterns that had lasted for centuries. You know, I helped design that scenario 15 years ago, Brooks said quietly. We called it the Kobayashi Maru Plus. The original Kobayashi Maru was meant to test character when facing certain death. We wanted something that tested innovation. Under impossible pressure, Maya looked at him in surprise. You designed it to be impossible? We designed it to be unwinnable using conventional tactics, Brooks corrected. But conventional is not the same as correct. Sometimes the best solutions come from completely changing the rules of the game. Commander Fletcher thinks I do not understand military rules. Brooks smiled. Commander Fletcher is an excellent officer who has saved many lives through careful adherence to proven methods. But the universe is larger than any set of rules. Your background gives you perspectives that pure military training cannot provide. What if I fail tomorrow? What if Fletcher is right and I really do not belong here? Brooks turned to face her directly. Miss Rodriguez, failure is not falling down. Failure is staying down. Whatever happens tomorrow, learn from it and keep moving forward. The next morning came too soon. Maya's squad gathered in the simulation chamber while other cadets and instructors filled the observation gallery. Admiral Grace Harrison sat in the front row next to a group of visiting alien representatives, including Clixon 7, the insectoid ambassador from the Hive worlds. Commander Fletcher stood at the control console with obvious satisfaction. Squad 7, you have studied this scenario for 1 week. You understand the parameters and objectives. Are you ready to begin? Maya looked at her squad mates. Alex was trying to hide his nervousness behind a determined expression. Lisa had her tactical notes perfectly organized and ready for reference. Zarathek's large black eyes showed the calm focus of her species. We are ready, sir, Maya said. Begin simulation. The chamber dissolved around them, replaced by the bridge of a military escort ship. Through the main screen, Maya could see the massive civilian transport they were protecting. It was an old converted cargo hauler, slow and defenseless, packed, with families fleeing a war zone. Contact on sensors, Alex reported from the tactical station. Multiple enemy ships approaching from 3 directions. Maya studied the display. The enemy formation was perfect, too perfect. They moved with mechanical precision that reminded her of something. Lisa, what do you recommend? Maya asked. Standard defensive formation Delta. Lisa replied immediately. Put our ships between the enemy and the transport, engage at maximum range. Alex, can you execute that plan? Alex's hands moved over his controls with growing confidence. Formation Delta ready, all ships moving to intercept. But Maya was thinking about something else. She watched the enemy ships adjust their approach in response to Squad 7's movements. The adjustment was immediate and optimal, exactly what she would expect from an AI following programmed parameters. Zarathek, those enemy movement patterns, do they remind you of anything? Zarathek studied her sensor readings with the quick analytical mind of her species. They move like mining drones. Very efficient, very predictable once you understand their programming. Maya felt a spark of recognition. Mining drones on Kepler Station had sophisticated AI systems, but they all had the same weakness. They optimized for specific objectives and could not adapt when those objectives changed. Change of plans, Maya announced. We are not going to fight them. What do you mean? Lisa asked in alarm. The scenario requires us to protect the transport. The scenario requires us to keep the transport safe, Maya corrected. It does not say we have to destroy the enemy. She began issuing new orders. Instead of moving to intercept the enemy, Squad 7's ships began retreating. To the observers in the gallery, it looked like panic or cowardice. Squad 7 is withdrawing, Fletcher announced to the gallery. As expected, they are abandoning their objective when faced with superior force. But Maya was not abandoning anything. She was leading the enemy exactly where she wanted them. Alex, when I give the signal, I need you to broadcast a distress call. Make it sound like our engines are failing. A fake distress call? Alex looked confused but nodded. I can do that. Lisa, I need you to plot a course through that asteroid field. Make it look random, like we are panicking. Lisa frowned at her, tactical principles being violated, but she began working on the course. This goes against every rule of engagement. Zarathek, can you prepare the transport's industrial fabricators? I need them to start producing something specific. Maya explained her plan quickly. Her squad mates looked doubtful, but they had learned to trust her instincts. Around them, the enemy ships closed in, confident in their approaching victory. Enemy ships entering weapons range, Alex reported. Now, Maya said. Execute the distress. Call and take us into the asteroids. What happened next looked like chaos to everyone watching. Squad 7's ships limped into a dense asteroid field, broadcasting emergency signals and flying erratic patterns. The enemy ships followed, their AI calculating the optimal pursuit course. But Maya was not running randomly. Every turn, every seemingly panicked maneuver was designed to lead the enemy deeper into the asteroids while positioning them exactly where she needed them. They are taking the bait, Zarathek reported. Enemy ships are following our course and ignoring safer alternatives. Phase 2, Maya announced. Lisa, activate the transport's fabricators. Alex prepared a broadcast on all frequencies. The civilian transport had industrial fabricators designed to produce mining equipment and station components. Under Maya's direction, they began creating something completely different. Thousands of small reflective disks that scattered through the asteroid field like metallic confetti. "What are those supposed to do?" Lisa asked. "Watch," Maya said. She had Alex broadcast a signal on the same frequency that mining operations use to coordinate automated equipment. The enemy AI ships, programmed to respond to human technology patterns, immediately began scanning the new signals. The thousands of reflective disks caught the scanner beams and bounced them back in confusing patterns. To the enemy AI, it looked like the asteroid field was suddenly full of human ships moving in impossible directions. The AI did what it was programmed to do. It adapted to the new threat by splitting its forces to engage multiple targets. But the targets were illusions, and the enemy ships found themselves scattered throughout the asteroid field, firing at empty space, while the real human ships slipped away. "Enemy formation is breaking apart," Alex reported in amazement. "They are chasing signals that do not exist." "Now we hit them," Maya said, "but not with weapons. Zarathek, are those mining charges ready?" Her squad mate had been preparing another surprise. Using the transport's industrial capacity, they had created mining charges, explosive devices designed to break apart asteroids. But instead of using them for mining, Maya planned to use them to change the battlefield itself. Squad 7 triggered carefully placed charges throughout the asteroid field. The explosions created clouds of rock and debris that interfered with sensors and communications. The enemy AI, already confused by the false signals, found itself operating blind. "Transport is clear of the field," Lisa reported. "All refugee ships are safe. Enemy ships are trapped in the debris cloud," Zarathek added. "Their AI cannot adapt to environmental conditions it was not programmed to handle." Maya watched the tactical display with satisfaction. The enemy ships were stuck in the asteroid field, unable to pursue and unable to complete their programmed objectives. They had not been destroyed, but they had been The observation gallery erupted in excited conversation as Squad 7 emerged from the simulation chamber. Maya felt dizzy with relief and disbelief. They had actually done it, solved the impossible scenario that had defeated every other cadet. Squad for 15 years. Admiral Harrison approached them with obvious interest. She was a small woman with gray hair and sharp eyes that seemed to see everything. Behind her followed Dr. Brooks and the alien ambassador Clixon 7, whose compound eyes reflected rainbow colors in the light. "Miss Rodriguez," Admiral Harrison said, "that was quite remarkable. Can you explain your strategy in more detail?" Maya tried to organize her thoughts. "The enemy AI was designed to adapt to human military tactics, ma'am, but it could not adapt to non-military approaches because those were outside its programming parameters." "Fascinating," Clixon 7 said through her translation device. Her voice sounded like musical chimes. "Your species continues to surprise us with your ability to think beyond established patterns." Dr. Brooks was studying the simulation data on his tablet. The asteroid field maneuver was brilliant, but the real innovation was using industrial fabricators as tactical weapons. That has never been attempted before. But Commander Fletcher was not celebrating. He stood at the control console with his jaw clenched, staring at the simulation results like they were a personal insult. "The scenario was flawed," Fletcher announced loudly. "These cadets exploited weaknesses in the programming rather than demonstrating real tactical skill." Admiral Harrison turned to face him. "Commander, the scenario was designed by our best tactical minds specifically to test unconventional thinking. If Cadet Rodriguez found weaknesses to exploit, that demonstrates exactly the kind of innovation we need." "She cheated," Fletcher insisted. "Military operations require discipline and adherence to proven methods. This kind of improvisation would get people killed in real combat." Maya felt her moment of triumph slipping away. Even when she succeeded, Fletcher found ways to diminish her achievements. She wanted to argue, to defend herself and her squad mates, but years of military academy training told her to stay silent when senior officers disagreed. "Commander Fletcher," Dr. Brooks said carefully, The simulation protocols clearly state that any solution achieving the primary objectives through non-destructive means is considered valid. Squad 7 met those criteria perfectly. The protocols need to be updated, Fletcher replied. We cannot encourage cadets to ignore military doctrine in favor of mining station tricks. Clixon 7 made a sound like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Through her translator, she said, Commander Fletcher, my species has survived for millennia by adapting old solutions to new problems. Your cadet has demonstrated the flexible thinking that will be essential for humanity's future among the stars. Fletcher's face turned an angry red. With respect, Ambassador, humans have defended themselves quite well without alien advice on military matters. The gallery fell silent. Maya felt the tension in the room like electricity before a storm. Admiral Harrison's expression hardened. Commander. Fletcher, you will report to my office immediately after this session, she said in a voice that could cut steel. We need to discuss your attitude toward both our cadets and our allies. Fletcher opened his mouth to argue, then seemed to realize he had gone too far. He nodded stiffly and left the gallery without another word. Maya watched him go with mixed feelings. She was glad to see him put in his place, but she also knew that making Fletcher look bad in front of the Admiral and alien representatives had probably made him even more determined to prove she did not belong at the Academy. Miss Rodriguez, Admiral Harrison said, drawing Maya's attention back to the moment. I would like to meet with you and your squad tomorrow morning. There are some opportunities I want to discuss. As the crowd dispersed, Maya found herself surrounded by other cadets. Some congratulated her with genuine excitement, while others looked at her with suspicion or envy. She heard whispered conversations about special treatment and unfair advantages. That was incredible, said a cadet named Danny Webb. How did you think of using the fabricators like that? But before Maya could answer, another cadet named Patricia Stone interrupted. It was just luck. Anyone could have stumbled onto that solution with enough time. Really? Alex Thompson had appeared beside Maya, his confidence boosted by their success. Then why did not anyone else think of it in 15 years? Patricia's friends pulled her away before the argument could escalate. But Maya could see the division their victory had created. Some cadets were inspired by Squad 7's success while others resented it. That evening, Maya sat in her room trying to process everything that had happened. Her roommate, a quiet girl named Susan Clark from a military family, was studying at her desk with obvious concentration. Susan, Maya said hesitantly, can I ask you something? Susan looked up from her books. They had been roommates for months but had barely spoken beyond basic politeness. What did you think of today's simulation? Maya asked. Susan was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, I think you scared a lot of people, including me. Scared them how? Most of us have been training for this our whole lives. We learned military history and tactics from childhood. Our parents and grandparents were officers. Susan closed her book and turned to face Maya directly. Then you show up from a mining station and solve problems we could not even understand. Maya felt a familiar pang of isolation. I do not want to make anyone feel bad. I just want to prove I belong here too. That is the problem, Susan said, but not unkindly. You do not just belong here. You are better than most of us at the things that really matter, and that makes some people question everything they believed about themselves. Maya lay awake that night thinking about Susan's words. She had wanted to prove she was good enough for the Academy, but maybe she had proven something more complicated than that. The next morning, Squad 7 met with Admiral Harrison in her private office. The walls were covered with star charts and pictures of Harrison commanding various starships throughout her career. Maya felt very small sitting in the comfortable chairs around the Admiral's conference table. Your performance yesterday has created quite a stir, Harrison began. Not just here at the Academy, but throughout the fleet command structure. We have received inquiries from 3 different Admiralty boards about your tactical innovations. Lisa Martinez, ever focused on regulations, asked, Are we in trouble, ma'am? Harrison smiled. Quite the opposite. Dr. Brooks has recommended that your asteroid field strategy be incorporated into advanced tactical training. The fleet's strategic planning division wants to study your approach to AI countermeasures. Maya felt a surge of pride mixed with disbelief. Her makeshift solution was being considered for real military use. However, Harrison continued, there are also concerns about the precedent this sets. Some officers worry that encouraging unconventional tactics might undermine military discipline. Commander Fletcher, Alex said quietly. Among others, Harrison confirmed. But I did not call you here to discuss politics. I called you here to offer you an opportunity. She activated a holographic display that showed a star map of the Outer Rim territories. Red markers indicated areas of conflict or concern. The EU situation in the Outer Rim is deteriorating, Harrison explained. Pirates, territorial disputes, and resource conflicts are threatening trade routes and civilian populations. We need innovative solutions to problems that conventional tactics have not been able to solve. Maya studied the star map with growing excitement. You want us to help develop new strategies? I want you to participate in a special research project, Harrison said. You would work with senior officers and alien allies to develop adaptive tactics for asymmetric conflicts. It would mean early graduation and immediate assignment to a tactical innovation unit. Zarathek leaned forward with interest. My people would be honored to contribute to such a project. Cross-species tactical cooperation could benefit all Alliance members. There is one condition, Harrison added. You would be working under the supervision of senior officers who may not initially appreciate your methods. You would need to prove yourselves not just once but repeatedly against skeptics who have decades of experience. Maya looked at her squad mates. Alex nodded eagerly, his confidence now solid after months of success. Lisa appeared thoughtful but determined. Zarathek's large eyes showed the calm certainty of her species. We accept, Maya said without hesitation. Harrison smiled. I hoped you would say that. Your first assignment will be to analyze the situation at Kepler Station. Pirates have been attacking mining operations throughout that sector, and conventional patrols have been ineffective. Maya's heart skipped. Kepler Station? That is my home. I know, Harrison said. Your personal knowledge of the area and its people could be invaluable. Sometimes the best solutions come from understanding the human element that tactical manuals cannot capture. As they left the Admiral's office, Maya felt a mixture of excitement and responsibility. She was going home, but not as the girl who had left months ago. She was returning as an officer with the chance to protect the people and places she cared about most. But first, she would have to prove that her unconventional methods could work in the real world, where mistakes meant more. 6 months later, Maya stood on the observation deck of the TDF Liberator as it approached Kepler Station. The mining colony looked exactly as she remembered, a collection of industrial modules and living quarters attached to the asteroid like metal flowers growing from rock. But now she saw it through different eyes. She was no longer the uncertain girl who had left for the academy. She was Lieutenant Maya Rodriguez, Tactical Innovation Specialist, returning home to solve a problem that had stumped the fleet's best strategists. Home sweet home, Alex said, joining her at the viewport. He wore lieutenant stripes now too, earned through months of proving that confidence could grow from success rather than breeding. Hard to believe pirates have been giving this place trouble. Maya studied the defensive platforms surrounding the station. They were old and limited, designed more for asteroid collision prevention than military threats. The pirates know exactly what they are dealing with. They have been planning these attacks for months. Behind them, Lisa Martinez was reviewing intelligence reports on her tablet while Zarathek analyzed sensor data from recent pirate raids. Both had thrived in their new roles, Lisa learning to adapt her rigid thinking while Zarathek served as liaison between human and alien tactical approaches. Captain Ryan O'Connor, their commanding officer, approached with the latest briefing materials. He was a veteran of the Outer Rim conflicts who had initially been skeptical of the Academy kids assigned to his ship. 6 months of successful operations had changed his mind. The pirates hit 3 more convoys this week, O'Connor reported. Same pattern as always. Fast attack, grab what they can carry, disappear before our patrols arrive. Intelligence says they have a base somewhere in this sector, but we have not been able to find it. Maya had been thinking about that problem since receiving their assignment. Captain, What if we are looking at this wrong? What if the pirates are not hiding from us? What if they are hiding among us? O'Connor frowned. Explain. The attacks always happen when convoys are most vulnerable, during cargo transfers, equipment repairs, or crew changes. The pirates know exactly when and where to strike. Maya pointed at the station. Someone is giving them information from the inside. You think there is a spy at Kepler Station? Lisa asked. I think there are people at Kepler Station who are desperate enough to make deals with pirates, Maya corrected. This is a mining colony. When the pirates attack convoys, cargo prices go up. Some people might see that as an opportunity rather than a threat. Zarathek looked up from her sensors. My analysis confirms unusual communication patterns between the station and unidentified ships in the outer system. The patterns match pre-attack timing. Captain O'Connor was quiet for a moment, processing the implications. If you are right, then sending more patrols will not solve the problem. The pirates will just adapt their timing. We need to change the game completely, Maya said. Make them come to us instead of chasing them around the asteroid belt. Over the next 3 days, Maya worked with her team to develop a plan that would have horrified Commander Fletcher. Instead of increasing security or deploying more ships, they were going to appear to make Kepler Station more vulnerable than ever. Maya's father, Tom Rodriguez, met them at the docking bay when they arrived at the station. He looked older than she remembered, with more gray in his hair and deeper lines around his eyes. But his smile was the same warm welcome she had always known. My daughter, the lieutenant, he said, pulling her into a hug that smelled like machine oil and honest work. Your mother is so proud she has been telling everyone who will listen. Dad, I need your help with something, Maya said. But it might be dangerous. Tom's expression grew serious. What kind of dangerous? Maya explained their plan. The station would announce a special convoy carrying rare mining equipment, the Eat-A kind of cargo that pirates could not resist. But instead of protecting the convoy with obvious military escorts, they would make it look tempting and poorly defended. You want to use Kepler Station as bait, Tom said slowly. We want to use the pirates' greed against them, Maya corrected. But we need the station's cooperation to make it believable. Tom was quiet for a long moment, looking out at the busy docking bay where miners and technicians went about their daily work. These people have been living in fear for months. If our plan fails, things continue as they are, Maya said. But if it works, the pirate problem ends permanently. And you think this will work because? Maya smiled. Because I learned from the best teacher I ever had. You taught me that every system has weaknesses if you understand it well enough. The pirates' weakness is that they think they understand us. Tom nodded slowly. What do you need? The false convoy was scheduled to launch 3 days later. Maya's team spread rumors throughout the station about a special shipment of advanced mining lasers worth millions of credits. They made sure the rumors reached Marcus Webb, a station administrator whose gambling debts had made him vulnerable to pirate recruitment. Webb took the bait perfectly. Within hours of the convoy announcement, Zarathek detected communication bursts to ships in the outer system. The pirates were mobilizing for their biggest score yet. 12 ships confirmed, Lisa reported from the tactical center they had established, in an abandoned mining office. They are bringing everything they have. Good, Maya said. The bigger the fleet, the harder it will be for them to escape when our trap springs. Alex monitored the convoy's progress from the bridge of a disguised freighter. To outside observers, it looked like a civilian transport with minimal escort. In reality, it was packed with hidden weapons and crewed by elite Marines. Convoy is approaching the ambush point, Alex reported. Pirates are taking position just like we predicted. Maya watched the tactical display with the calm focus she had learned from months of real operations. The pirates moved with practiced coordination, surrounding the convoy in a formation designed to prevent escape while minimizing their own risk. They are good, Captain O'Connor admitted. Professional and disciplined. No wonder they have been so successful. Professional pirates follow professional patterns, Maya replied. And patterns can be exploited. The pirate ships closed in on the convoy, demanding surrender and preparing to board. Their leader, a woman called Captain Scar, transmitted the usual threats about resistance being futile. "Execute Phase 2, Maya ordered. What the pirates did not know was that the convoy's cargo containers were actually sophisticated jamming devices disguised as mining equipment. When activated, they created a communication dead zone that cut the pirates off from their base and each other. Pirates are trying to coordinate, but their communications are scrambled, Zarathek reported. They are reverting to individual ship actions. Now they are just raiders instead of a fleet, Lisa observed. Much easier to handle individually. Phase 3 began as hidden military ships emerged from the asteroid field around them. The pirates found themselves surrounded by superior forces, with no way to call for help or coordinate their escape. "This is Admiral Harrison aboard the TDF Reprisal," came a voice over the communication system. "Pirate vessels, you are surrounded and outgunned. Surrender immediately or face the consequences." Most of the pirate ships surrendered without a fight when they realized the hopelessness of their situation. Only Captain Scar's flagship attempted to run, but it was quickly disabled by precise weapons fire that left the crew alive, but the ship powerless. "Pirate fleet neutralized," Captain O'Connor reported. "All vessels captured with minimal casualties on either side." Maya felt the familiar satisfaction of a complex problem solved through careful analysis and unconventional thinking. But this time the stakes had been real. Lives had been at risk and communities had been depending on their success. "Lieutenant Rodriguez," Admiral Harrison's voice came over the communication system. "Outstanding work. Your tactical innovation has eliminated a threat that conventional patrols could not touch." "Thank you, ma'am," Maya replied. "But the real victory belongs to the people of Kepler Station. They trusted us with their safety." Later, as the captured pirates were transferred to detention ships and the convoy delivered its real cargo of medical supplies and equipment to the station, Maya found herself back in the observation lounge where her journey had begun. Dr. Brooks appeared beside her carrying 2 cups of coffee. "I heard about your success. The Tactical Innovation Program has exceeded all expectations." Maya accepted the coffee gratefully. "It feels good to solve problems that matter." "What you have done here goes beyond tactics," Brooks said. "You have proven that military effectiveness comes from understanding people and situations, not just following procedures. The Academy is already updating its curriculum based on your methods." "What about Commander Fletcher?" Maya asked. She had not seen him since the day of their simulation victory. Brooks was quiet for a moment. "Commander Fletcher has been reassigned to a desk position at Fleet Headquarters. His review board concluded that his approach to training was outdated." Maya felt a complex mix of emotions. She had never wanted to destroy Fletcher's career, just prove that his prejudices were wrong. "He did request a meeting with you before his transfer," Brooks added.